Well, hello there, and welcome to a new type of video that I'm going to practice to do on this channel, because nobody will see it. So if you are seeing it, you're either a family member just interested in my work, or a friend, or just someone who just happened to randomly pop on this PowerDirector tutorial or behind the scenes dealio, whatever. Anyone who's just interested in watching how I do my work here. I'm gonna put myself in a little box for where the editing bay is. I'll take that off for a sec so you can see this is the editing bay, this is the movie preview, and this is obviously the tracks where you do all the work. This software is called Cyberlink PowerDirector. Actually, I can get the full schematic. Yeah, Cyberlink PowerDirector. Stop advertising. Cyberlink PowerDirector. Yeah, I know 15's out, but it's virtually the same. It just has some other cool stuff you can do, like 360 editing, which I need a 360 camera in order to do, so I don't need to upgrade. So I'm going with PowerDirector 14. Even though I will say this version in particular has a problem with rendering. So for example, if I go to and just get some random JPEG in here, oh look at that, it's all pretty, right? If I go to shoot, where is it? Oh yeah, if I just do this little dealio, if I select this little bit, render preview, this option originally would allow you to pre-render in the editing in the edit slot, allowing me to essentially preview a high definition render of what it would look like if I had fully rendered it and made a video about it. This is good if like you're working on some heavy stuff, like if there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of tracks, or like animation, keyframes, whatever. Unfortunately, this feature on my version is corrupted, and anytime I use this, it will corrupt the file and make it impossible to render, which means I can't make the video. So that is why I just can't mess with that feature anymore, which isn't a huge setback. It's just kind of annoying. But anyway, I'm wasting my time. For me to show you how I make a certain video, I'm going to do 2 videos on this channel, and so this is obviously being the first one, and then I'll make another on my main channel, but it'll be a lot more professional, and it won't be 2 in the freaking morning, and I'll have like better ideas of what to do. So anyway, we're gonna look at my last video I ever made, which was a Star Wars, no, screw you, a Star Wars tribute video, which incidentally was the 40th anniversary, so I named it after that. Where the frick did I put it? I actually named it Ultimate Star Wars. I never did that. Ultimate Tribute. Would you like to merge? No, I don't have anything. Alright, so this essentially is my entire project on the Star Wars 40th anniversary tribute, which I made. Ignore this part. This is all just a preview that I quickly made for my my Facebook page. Tomorrow, May 4th. Oh, it's gonna be exciting and stuff. Ain't that original? Alright, so let's get to the actual, frickin' project and ignore that little bit. So anyway, I should probably increase that so you guys can see. So like this is the video slot and the audio slot, and then I have some additional stuff here. So it's over there. So it doesn't look like a hugely complicated project. But so, by the way, if you haven't seen the actual video itself, I highly recommend you watching it first. I put a lot of work into it, like 2 days worth, over 12 hours, give or take. Watch the video. It's on my channel. I'll put a link in the description. And but yeah, let's let's just assume that you've already seen it and care about my work and whatnot. So we have here the audio, which is the main. This is the main idea of the entire video right here. You'll notice it's called Epic Star Wars Music Corridor Digital OST. And what does that mean? Well, I took this music composition for a video made by Corridor Digital. They're a small group of people who make amazing high quality short films for YouTube and whatnot. So the composer of this particular video, named Blockus, I believe that's his name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. He made this video. No, he didn't make the video. What am I saying? He composed the music for the video, and even the guys who were part of the team of Corridor Digital were like, "Oh my god, this is way too good for our video," which was just about drones. It was a drone video. And like, see, and there's no audio for the actual film itself. It's just the music, because I downloaded the file that Blockus put on his channel, which was great. Otherwise, I would have had to like record it off of SoundCloud. I also highly recommend you watch this video as well, so you can like, support them, because clearly this video wouldn't have been made without this, obviously. Watch Blockus' stuff, which, I mean, if you're into like sound design and whatnot, and then come back to here where you can understand my pain when it came to making this fresh out of my head. So essentially, I took this video where, I wanted to use the music because it was so epic and so amazing. Like, all this is like Star Wars. This basically John Williams meets Hans Zimmer, which is what the direction that this composer was going for, and I think he freaking nailed it. It was freaking astounding and amazing to watch, and I fell in love with the music. I wanted to download it immediately, but then I was thinking, like, man, it'd be awesome if I could use this for like a Star Wars video. And then when May the 4th was coming, which is May the 4th be with you, I was like, oh my god, I gotta make a Star Wars video. I was like, what should I do? And I was like, well, why not use this? So I essentially took the music from here and applied it to here. So yeah, that's essentially the whole idea of this video, and taking multiple clips from the Star Wars saga, 1 through 6. I'm not going to include anything from 7 or Rogue One because that story isn't complete. So I just wanted to include the original saga first. No hate for the new stuff. There's not enough footage or story to tell. Like with here, I actually unintentionally told a story here with the main villains. Let's see if I can find with these guys. Yeah, so alright, so essentially the idea is, like, I'm taking this music, but I've watched this video so many times that it's almost impossible to get these images out of my head. So essentially I was trying to not think of this when trying to make this, which was almost incredibly hard to do, just because, like, I had to essentially wipe this out of my mind and then create something fresh. So, like, let's ignore this, let's just take out this entire video track, and essentially I have to just listen to this. And I have to, like, make notes as I go along, and I'm like, what am I thinking? Essentially, like what Star Wars moment goes here? So, like, essentially that's what I did. I made, you see all these little blue tabs up here? It's probably been bugging you. Anyone OCD, it's like, what the hell are all these things up here? So essentially, these are my notes, which I am so thankful that I found, because there's no real instruction booklet for how to use the software like this. It's pretty much like, you know, user-friendly, or as user-friendly as you can get if you understand video editing. And like you just have to dick around with all these things. So essentially I put, you know, okay, so this is obviously the opening. My notes go from basic to descriptive as hell. So like opening. So essentially, like, you know, the opening of this crawl, I guess, maybe that's what I was thinking, I don't know. I would have been a little bit more specific and, like, you know, oh geez, oh lord, sorry, it happens sometimes. I would have been more descriptive, like saying the 20th Century Fox opening and the Lucasfilm logo, and then boom, this, you know, I would have been more descriptive than just opening. Like, that's basically like, think of an opening for this whole sequence. This was one of the hardest things to do, just thinking of what to do here, and I'm so glad that all this only took up like the first 21 seconds. Then you have intros. Intros, what? I guess this? I don't know, I just did intros. Tension rising. So yeah, technically the tension is rising here. I took the, you know, the first opening shot of, you know, Star Wars Episode 4, like with the very first film, to the last one in the saga, because I love this shot. I think it's amazingly beautifully shot. I know it's all CGI, but still, it's, God, look at that war. Just look at all that war happening. All right, and then which, yeah, this kind of fits tension rising, but at the time I didn't know what I was doing. I was just dicking around trying to figure out what idea. Also, I want to, you know, let y'all understand how I got all this footage. You know, I do have all the DVDs and Blu-rays. Actually, my dad has the Blu-rays. I have all the DVDs for these films, but I used I torrented the despecialized editions of these films. Essentially what I mean is I torrented a fan-created Star Wars film and, you know, downloaded it for entertainment and also for this type deal. But essentially, this version of Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, this is a Frankenstein version of the film, and what I mean is it has Blu-ray high quality, but it was made like it was back in 1980, like all the original effects and whatnot, like it was shot in the film, like in the movie theaters. So an example of that, like you don't have, like, Cloud City looks pretty generic, like there's no amazing backgrounds and whatnot. There aren't any crappy special editions that Lucas put in the film, like in the DVD or the Blu-ray versions. It's all the original stuff here, all the original lines, all the original everything. I'm trying to find like a specific moment to like further explain. I think it was like here, into like the Emperor's face, which is like the one thing I don't like about this version, honestly, just because I like the the Episode 3 Emperor face. Ah, here we go. Alright, so this is what I mean when I say this is basically the Blu-ray version, but from 1980. It's the raw, you know, footage from 1980, like not the specialized version with the Episode 3 Emperor. So like this is all, but it's up to Blu-ray high quality. So like basically the people who made this had to take multiple footage and DVDs and Blu-rays and other stuff, VHS tapes, all that nonsense, and put it in this version you see right here that's available for download. I'm not going to include the links because I don't know legal stuff, but essentially that's what I have. If you really want to know how to get this and how to torrent it, DM me on my Twitter, and I'll let you know. But that's essentially how I got the original Star Wars footage. This gigantic beast of an edit is a fan edit that my friend David made, and because he loves he loves Star Wars, I think almost as pretty much a little bit more than I do, if not way more than I do, considering he made this. Everyone hates the prequels, or at least a lot of people don't like the prequels as much, especially after watching Red Letter Media. So what he did was he essentially created a fan edit of the prequels, cut out all the BS, and made it into one film. It's 4.5 hours, but that's better than the original, like 6.5 or 7. So he cut out a huge chunk of Phantom Menace and intertwined Revenge of the Sith's intro in between, like, some of the shots here between episode 1 and episode 2. Yeah, so if you want his version of which he titles Fall of Heroes, a Star Wars story, kind of like Rogue One and whatnot, then just, again, DM me and I'll send you a link to all that. I'm sure he would love for people to see his work on that. He spent many months on that. Anyway, but back to my edit. So, again, I have multiple notes here. Let's see, tension rising, basic. Witty banter during a conflict, it's just because I heard, let's take this, let's take that out, let's take this and this out. Essentially you hear a little da-da-da-da-da-da. So I thought, something, a little fun, like a little fun joke, or little joke that a hero might say would be good for that scene. So you have Anakin here saying,
"This is where the fun begins."
Kind of just makes the video flow a bit more, puts a little fun into it. Fun heroic moments, which we have, Anakin smiling, Obi-Wan not so much, little, speeders and whatnot. Let's see, speeder bike scene, that was a lot later that I put it in. X-Wing speeder moment, good guy explosion victory. I was kind of like, do I want that here for this scene? Like, is that like a cool scene for someone, or is that like a bad scene? Like, I was trying to figure it out. I went back and forth a lot on these here. So, and then you have show villains the Sith. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool moment. And I even was able to manage to put Boba Fett in there. Just for a little bit, like he is in the films. Let's see. Powerful villain moment. Yeah, that was for the Emperor. Finding escaping villains. That was this little maneuver. Let's see. Love scenes, obviously, had to throw those in there. At first I didn't know how to structure this. Obviously, you have to have the Han and Leia moment, and then something with Anakin and Padme. I thought this scene was pretty innocent, so that worked out pretty well. And then it just, like, I had this scene in mind. Like, I don't know why. I remember this scene a lot more. Go away. I remember this scene a lot more when I was watching my friend David's edit. Like, he included this and he explained why. Like, he thought this scene was kind of charming, so he left it in there. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a diplomatic solution? No.
Actually, let's turn off the music, the main music there for a sec.
Call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
See, I thought that was pretty cute. And it's a fun little moment with them. And then I was like, I wonder, is there like a Han and Leia moment like this? And sure enough, there was. Way over here, where they reverse the lines after, like, you know, it shows that she's got a blaster. I didn't show that because it didn't flow with the music as well, but and it took too much time. Like here, we have this took about 4 seconds. This took about 3 seconds. I could have increased it a little bit more, but there was 2 seconds here and 1 second there. It's like you gotta make sure everything flows right. So yeah, I also increased this like crazy. Wait, did I not increase it enough? I don't know. Wait, hold on. I'm actually curious about something.
I love you. I know.
Oh, come on! So one of the biggest problems I had with this scene in particular is that it was way too dang quiet. And I tried drastically lowering the decibels on this music here by like 10. Which it's noticeable when you hear it. Give me a sec. It's like a big drop in the sound. And it's like big one. I mean, I kind of like it does work with the trumpets there, but still, had I known, because okay, the reason I did not increase this any further is because it's clipping right here. The yellow right there means it's clipping, and clipping is not usually something. It's usually not good to have your audio clip, and I don't know. I thought it might have been my headset, and I couldn't hear it right. Like maybe it was louder than I'm thinking it was. But when I rendered it, it definitely did not sound that great. So had I just increased that all the way up, I'm a little mad now. Anyway, one more thing. Let's just say, for all second purposes, that maybe I should have added the blaster scene. Like her taking out her blaster. Do I take the Return of the Jedi entire movie, plug it here, and then try to find that moment in the timeline? No, that's ridiculous. That would be a huge waste of my time. So instead, I have to, first off, let's put the slider there so when I extend it, bam, there we go. No, that would be a huge waste of my time. So instead, what we would do is we're gonna just take the clip and just pull it a little bit back. And then you see her take out take it out. Which kind of works for the scene, but again, we had to have, when the love music starts, you gotta have both Han, Leia, and Anakin and Padme, because they're like the crux of the whole romantic stuff. Would have been great to have this, but again, it didn't work with what I was going for. Anyway, so yeah, you got a heroic lover moment, at Anakin and Padme negotiations fighting, conflict rising, Vader Luke, Dooku versus Anakin. This scene actually took all 4 of the villains, or well, not all 4. I assume everyone understands that the Emperor is like the guy who instructs these guys what to do. So like he's the root of all evil, so I just assume like everyone understands that. I could have had an Emperor moment here, but I didn't know what to pull. Plus this scene, like, the conflict rising here, this scene's just perfect for that kind of situation. Like that's just like, oh dang son, like things are gonna get crazy. And it just kind of worked. Yeah, it just worked pretty fluently. I'll get back to this part because it's one of my favorites. Yeah, Vader loses hand. Vader loses hand. Luke loses hand. Luke falls. And see, there's some like notes here that I didn't use. Like, I was debating whether for this part, let's just take out the audio, like the visual, real quick, just to understand like what it sounds like. So like in my head that just sounds perfect for like trailer music. So I was thinking, use trailer like title cards for more epicness, like every saga, you know, like something pretty epic. But I couldn't think of anything, and I almost considered doing like a this Christmas kind of thing that the new trilogy is doing right now, and actually just rip it from them because I can't do that effect myself. But this worked out. This worked out more. I kind of like this more actually. Just fade in to the dark lightsabers. Fade into like the lightsabers in the dark, and then have that spark just to show that the opacity is complete. I get a little too excited about my work. Like sometimes, like when I put in things, I'm just like, yes. I get very excited about these kind of projects. Anyway, so yeah, you have your Dooku versus Anakin, Obi-Wan versus Maul, Yoda versus Sidious, and then and I had this scene over here for like the longest time. I actually had right where it started here, but then I had to extend it just because it fit with this closing in. And like, and you can tell like these scenes aren't conjoined. Like they're pretty much like every other scene. Like every scene has about 3 seconds, if not more. Like 1.5 to 3.5 seconds. It kind of keeps the consistency and the flow of the video. But yeah, I found 2 shots that kind of work together in this because Anakin's about to jump over him, so like this scene's actually before, but I just love the shot that Obi-Wan gives to Anakin. Like he is tired of your crap. And then I took voice clips from older Obi-Wan saying, he's more machine now than man. Like obviously he lost the battle. And then comes like my favorite part in the entire video.
That boy is our last hope. No, there is another.
Oh, I just friggin' love that. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you obviously know that Obi-Wan's talking about Luke in this instance, but for the video's sake, he's talking about Anakin. And then Yoda's talking about Luke, when clearly in the film he's talking about Leia. But that's kind of what I like about editing. I can just kind of do and make whatever I want. And then I took cute little baby Luke here to work with this scene. I thought it was pretty cool. Now thinking about it, another scene that would have worked is Luke looking off in the distance on 2 suns of Tatooine. But you know what? It's whatever. It's like, it works with the scene. It's fine. It's all good. Because like, if you're not a Star Wars fan, you wouldn't really know who this baby is. But then like immediately it cuts to Luke, so then you would know. Anyway, let's see. Luke, badass moment. Everyone's badass moments, which actually again did not work out. Like this was going to be like, I'm gonna emphasize on Luke doing stuff, but then it just turned out, and then I was gonna start having everyone else doing cool stuff. But in the end of the saga, it's all about Luke and how he prevails and stuff. So that's kind of how it worked out. Also, if you watch this shot here. You're probably wondering too, so why did I use the original Episode 4 Death Star when clearly these 2 shots are showing the new Death Star? Like, there's even, like, construction over here. Well, it's the 40th anniversary, and I think most people remember the first Death Star game blown up, then the second. I watched the second game blown up in this, and I was just like, it is not as effective as this is. Like, that just looks forward pretty. I know and also they spiced it up in the specialized version, but again, it's like, I think just having the despecialized version allows me to like get the original effect in, so it's pretty cool. And then I do like my little like. I actually tried to look up the original font and the color scheme for the font that they use at the end of the credits of of the movies, and that's why, you know, I have my name and my online name capitalized, because that's how they did it in the films. So, and then I have my little end card here where I would put the thumbnails and my subscriber button there. So, and also support the musician, because I mean I wouldn't have made it without him. So anyway, that's not, so I know we went through the whole video, but I want to explain something else. So I was just kind of going through like the structure of it. Now I want to get to, like, to some of the technical aspects. So you'll notice here, like, okay, this is clearly in the video, but like, why isn't it up here? Well, it's because of the tracks. Technically, I could have. I don't think it would have mattered where the video track is. I don't think that music necessarily prioritizes on depending on which track it's on. Not like the visuals. Like, see, if I had this visual here, but then I overlaid this over there, it would not show this visual because it's on top of, it's a layer. It's on top of this visual here. So that that's why I don't overlayer my visuals. However, I can overlayer my my sounds and my music, because I don't think it really matters. In fact, the music is technically supposed to go in this track, because they have a whole, like, they have a separate track there, but I don't use that. Nobody really uses that. But, you know, that's just basic editing. That's for, you know, people who don't understand or are confused about stuff. But anyway, so and that's why, like, over here it's like if something's too low, like the stuff from Return of the Jedi, like this part in particular, if we turn off the music,
He's more machine, than man.
it's really low because of just how the editing was in the film. So I had to drastically drop the music, and it was too obvious. I couldn't just simply lower the fade. I had to like, I couldn't fade out the music. I had to just instantly drop it from one frame to another. It doesn't sound great, but, you know, that's what I had to do.
He's more machine, than man.
It's kind of like someone just, like, took your volume slider and dropped it to 4 and then back to 10. It's not great, but, you know, it's what I had to think of on the fly. If I had more time and if I had more experience, I would think of a smarter way to implement that, or how to get the sound to sound better. But that's just how that's what I had to work with. But so yeah, essentially all this was coming out of my head, and just how to structure it. I essentially started, I don't go in chronological order. I did everything out of order. So, like, I did let's see, like, the love scenes I focused on a little bit. Not there. So I focused on the love scenes a little bit, and then I just kind of go to key moments, like, okay, what do I know I want to do? So, for instance, I knew I wanted this shot of Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then doing, like, the shot for, like, you know, Anakin Obi-Wan fight. Anakin becomes Darth Vader. Obi-Wan saying there's no hope. Yoda saying there is hope, it's Luke. And then have all Luke's moments. So this part, like, about up to, I'd say there, that's where I basically knew. I had all that planned out. And that's only, like, 20% of the video. Maybe 20%. And I still had all this other stuff to do, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how I wanted to structure it. I just basically had to listen and listen and listen to the music over and over again, and just try to think of, like, okay, what, it was basically music theory and music appreciation. Like, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? What scene do I think of? And you just kind of go back and forth. I'll tell you the one scene that The one thing I personally hate and probably did not have enough time to think of, or this was the hardest one for me. It gets the message out there, and in a way it kind of works, but it wasn't immensely to my liking, mainly because it's from the Phantom Menace. But I try not to focus primarily on one movie. I kind of did with Empire in a way, and especially at the end, Return of the Jedi, because it was the end of the saga, so it kind of works. But I tried to incorporate all the movies, but with similar situations. So for instance, for instance, this opening shot, it has Imperial Star Destroyers. And then it goes to the Trade Federation, then to the Death Star. You're trying to implement. That's not the best example. Let me try to find something else. So you go from episode 3, the little fun witty banter that Anakin says.
Begins.
So episode 3, episode 2, then episode 6. Then you go to episode 4, and then to episode 5. And then episode 1. But then it just stays at episode 1 for 4 cuts. But I mean, granted, this is where all of it started, essentially, was the Trade Federation invading Naboo. But that's in my mind. I don't know what other people are thinking. So to me, it's not the best. It's not the best thing. It works with what I was feeling like. If you watch it, cut to that, that bang, and then, evil is rising, essentially. Someone's looking sad, and then you cut to the villains. And if you'll notice, this is also the main key thing about the whole video, is that every big beat, every big part, instantly cuts to the next shot. It keeps the video, it flows with the video. It keeps things consistent. It's the video is on beat with the music, and that's, a lot of people do that, and it just makes the video ever so more powerful. If I kept this going for a little bit more, but for example, I don't go to the next beat with Vader. I keep it on Vader for a little bit. Well, let's start with Maul. So beat, beat, beat. And it stays on Vader for a little bit because I have something special for the Emperor. Zap. So I could have cut to the Emperor immediately, right about here where he does the lightning, but it's just a powerful villain moment where he does the Force lightning that it just works with the flow. And then you have other parts that just kind of, you just throw in there, and you hope they work out, and for the most part they do. And that was the love theme was about to start, so I put in a little early, just so the flow stays there, because the evading action part, that was almost to 6 seconds, and that wouldn't have made the video flow that well. Here you have it for 6 seconds, but again, it kind of works with the action, because there's so many shots happening with the scene. I can literally count them. Let's see, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 shots in that one scene alone, so it kind of kept up with the rhythm of the scene anyway. And then obviously for these moments in particular work so dang well, almost too well. For Qui-Gon's death, when Darth Maul stabs him, I tried to plan that as much as I could. So we have here, him getting stabbed, and the reaction is when the music just, rises. And the next part here with Anakin and Dooku, I wanted to include, them swinging the lightsaber, but I kind of wanted it was focusing on them for too long, and I also wanted to show off Maul just being a jerk to Obi-Wan. But this scene right here worked too dang well with the music. It was almost as if the music was made purposely for the scene in particular. Like, listen and watch closely. In fact, I'm going to expand the scene just so you understand what I'm talking about. Listen to the music. Did you see that? It happens very fast, but just watch that scene one more time. That little da-da-da, like it was amazingly perfect for that little shake. I don't know why, but when that shake happens in the film, I lose my mind. It's like it was like one of those just little editing things that they did. Like I'm sure it wasn't a camera. Maybe it was a camera. Maybe it was like a little jiggle thing that they either did intentionally or by accident. But that little jiggle that they did during the scene just made it, their saber clash so more impactful. And to replicate that in music is just I can't believe I did that. Like, it's just so dang perfect. I'm sorry I'm like going nuts over the scene, but it's too good. I kind of outdid myself in that regard. I'm not trying to yank my own whatever, but tension's rising here, and then cut to loop. Cut off. Hit everyone. And then just hard cut. So I get a little creative with the fade in. And you kind of just have to do everything with the music, and it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of trying to figure out which scenes go with what. It was a very hard video to do. It doesn't look that hard because it doesn't look as crazy as some of my other videos, which you'll see a crazy looking one in the next one. But yeah, that's essentially it for this. I mean, I could explain a little bit more. But as far as timing goes, we're kind of going over my limit here. I was kind of hoping to get 30 minutes. We're way past that. We're way past 30 minutes. So, yeah, my voice is going out too. Anyway, I hope you like this. I hope some of you who cared watched the whole thing and watched my lumbering. But yeah, just let me know what you thought of this little thing. I'm gonna try to edit it down to a bit, cut out my little mistakes here and there, and maybe cut out some BS. But let me know what you thought of this little tutorial. Let me know if there's any recommendations you would like to throw at me about the video itself. I've gotten 0 comments on the original video, so any feedback is great. If you hate it, let me know. Just tell me what you didn't like. But yeah, just give me your feedback. I would appreciate it. And I hope you all have a lovely day. So take care. Bye.